in my experience, it's been the most cost-effective way to get real estate. If you don't have the credit to do it, don't have the knowledge to do it, also you don't have to invest in your county. Here's how we make money just for trying.
Noel.
I love it. I love it. And so you've learned so much over the years. Obviously, you've tried so many different things. You've made some money in a lot of different things, lost some money in others. And so I'm told you have a new book that has a lot of these, great information in it. Talk to me about the book, where people can get it, and then we'll get into the real estate stuff.
Oh, yeah. So my website is authorjt.com. I'll also provide a direct link to Miss Noel Randall for you all to check it out as well. And the name of the book is How to Buy Real Estate for $1,000 or Less, without debt, without wholesaling, or get paid just for trying. I want to tell you guys a little bit of the backstory behind the book really quick, because you guys know I'm a talker, is that my uncle, ever since I joined the Marines, so the military in my family is like a rite of passage. If you a man and you don't go to the military, if you ever seen the Spartan movie 300, how they throw the babies off, like if you graduate high school, my family just throw you off a mountain somewhere if you don't join the military. So while I was in the Marines, he would come down from New York City, where he lived, to South Carolina, and tell me, hey, come to the tax sale auction, come to the tax sale auction. And I was like, what is that? He was like, well, people don't pay their taxes, they auction it off. And I was like, nah, like it's on a Friday, or it was back then on a Friday. That's my party night. I'm definitely not going to go sit with old people at an auction about some real estate. But as I started seeing my uncle accumulate properties, that's why it's a quote that I heard that I found to be true in my life, that proximity is important, right? And people phrase it different ways. But I told my uncle I didn't want to go to the auction with him, but then he would come back with receipts showing that he might buy 7 trailer homes, modular homes, whatever you want to call them. He's spending $200 a home. And let's say out of the 7 that he buys, 5 of them get redeemed. He get his money back with interest. But now he has 2 mobile homes that he would just turn around and sell as is and make $7,000-8,000 off of those 2 module homes just to move them fast. So I was like, man, this is crazy. I'm going to actually go to one of these auctions with him, and it changed my life forever. So the book is based off of what my uncle taught me, and then just trial and error, and then adding my own tools along the way. So it's tax sale investing. Some states are tax deed states, meaning that you actually get the property. Other tax lien states, meaning that you just get a lien, you go see a tax attorney, they'll do their magic and help you get a free and clear title to that as well, if there's no outstanding liens. But I don't want to confuse anybody with that. The most important part that I like to tell people about this is that, in my experience, it's been the most cost-effective way to get real estate for if you don't want to use debt. Because, of course, if you can leverage other people's money, that's great. But if you don't have the credit to do it, don't have the knowledge to do it, you go to these auctions, set a budget, right? Don't get caught up in the ambiance, and before you know it, you done spent the rent money or the mortgage money. But go there with a budget. That's why we set $1,000, but it can be whatever your budget is. And we're not going to go over whatever our bid is per property. Can I give them a little sauce on how to do it?
Absolutely. Okay. I love it. Yes, share. Like I said, I wanted you here because you are amazing. Like I said, you have over 300,000 subscribers on YouTube. You got over 100,000 on TikTok. You out here giving out great information. Let's give them great information.
All right. So in your county, and also you don't have to invest in your county. Remember, my uncle drove from New York to South Carolina just because the deals were better. But in every county, if you don't pay taxes, of course, eventually they want to recoup that money by auctioning it off. Most times they're going to release it on a list on the county website. If you in a little country town like me, they're going to put it in the paper. Who reads the paper? Just go to the county website and get those, what they're going to call parcel IDs. Right. So if I live at 123 Main Street, it's not going to say JT Automations at 123 Main Street house. Right. It's going to give you a parcel ID. And that's a number that represents my address. You're going to go to your local GIS website. So just Google it, right? And in that GIS website, you're going to copy the parcel ID that you got for free. You're going to put it in the GIS website for free, and it's going to give you an address. You could then take that address, put it in Zillow, Realtor. If you got software, you can put it in whatever software, but then you can actually see the property that's going up for sale. Typically what they do is they might update the list. Depending on your county, they might update it twice, 3 times, whatever. So what I would do is I would make a list of properties that I'm interested in buying based off of price and whatever your specifications are. And then I would check that all the way up until right before the auction comes and see if somebody went in, because I could go in before the auction and pay off my whatever my tax bill is, and then I come off the list. So you don't want to go in there with a list of a bunch of properties that's not even up for auction. And you also, in my opinion, don't want to blindly bid on property. My aunt did this one year.
Okay.
She just showed up and she said, anything that's cheap, I'm going to buy. She got a property for $75.
She said, okay.
She went and somebody had passed away and they owned, the property was on one parcel ID. The driveway was on another parcel ID. They never just combined it. My aunt owned the driveway of somebody else's, not the house. It was a small little strip of land. She just gave it to him. So that's why I recommend, because you might just hear $100, $200, $300. It can be swamp land. It can be a driveway. It can be something that's landlocked way out in the middle of nowhere. So I recommend you know what you're bidding on. So make you a list, go there. Here's how we make money just for trying. There's something called overages. Let's say that. So right now, my tax bill is $7,000 a year. All right. If I don't pay that, let's say it goes to auction after a year or two, at least in the area I'm in, and I owe the county 14 grand. But somebody really wants it, so they bid it up to $20,000. Well, in most areas, I'm owed the difference between the 14 that I didn't pay and the extra 6 that made it 20 that you paid for it. Typically, what they're going to do is they're just required by law to send a letter to your last known address. Well, if Noelle bought that property and they sent a letter to her new property asking for JT, she gonna throw it away or say he don't live here no more. Like, man, that letter is gonna never make it to me, because it's not her job to hunt me down and say, hey, you know, you owed some money. So there's a lot of people that don't know they're entitled to that money. So you can either assist them in getting the money by helping them do the paperwork, or you can do it for them in exchange for the money, right? So very simple process to do. The only thing you need to know is in your area, like in the Carolinas, you have to the end of time to get your money back. In parts of California, you got a year. After a year, it's over with. Like, don't come asking. All right. So you need to know, depending on where you are, how much time you have left. And if you're under that time crunch, you need to immediately go. So that same auntie that learned from her $75 mistake, what she does now is she shows up with a list. She still don't do research, and I hope she don't watch this much of the but I still love you, auntie. She'll just write down the bid price, like what it sold for, off to the right, because she just prints out those list of parcel IDs I told you about. She'll just write out off to the right how much they sold for, and the starting bid is already listed on there. So now she has a document. She can either reach out to those people directly, or inside my book, there's a company that you can refer all your leads out to. Every deal they close, you get a fee, like affiliate marketing, for those of you all that are familiar with that term. So you give them the leads. If they get the deal done, you get money just by referring them the leads.
I love that. So one more time, where can people get this book? Because this book has all of this information. You are blowing, I know you're blowing my mind with some of this stuff. And just to clarify, one of the things he said, GIS stands for Geographic Information Systems. So like he said, when you are finding these parcel IDs for auctions, okay, he is absolutely correct. That's why I said authorjt.com. You're going to go and you're going to get this book. You're going to use code Noelle and you're going to save 50%. This book is absolutely amazing. He's giving you a snippet of a real way to start getting real estate for pennies on the dollar. Like, seriously, this has been done. Somebody taught me this when he was 70 years old, and he taught me this, 15 years ago. So this has been around for many years with people picking up properties for pennies on the dollars and getting rental portfolios, getting properties to fix and flip. One of the ideas that you said that I was like, yes, and I've done as well, was you pick up those mobile homes, you know, for $500 and $1,800, and then you rent them out for $1,500 a month and stuff like that. Like those are easy rental properties. Now, I'm not a big fan of mobile homes. People that watch Noelle know I don't love them. It's real estate. I'll make some money. They work out as rental properties, but they don't go up in value the way that I like. So, you know, that's just why it's not my core thing for real estate, but it is a great way to pick up some really inexpensive rental properties that you can really cash flow pretty easily, or like JT said, or as our uncle was doing, just go ahead and flip them and sell them immediately. So author JT, that's AUTHORJT.com. And it's an ebook. You can download the book immediately. Use code Noelle. Yeah. So one more time, what's the title of that book again?
It's How to Buy Real Estate for $1,000 or less without debt, without wholesaling, or get paid just for trying.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. And the get paid for trying, because that's the part that I think you were saying that people aren't really getting, okay? Because you said it so fast. I had to catch up. I had to catch up. And I got a master's degree too. And I was like, wait. The overage thing.
Yeah, the overages. That's the difference between what the county is owed and what somebody paid.
Yeah. Yeah. So at the auction, people will pay more than what the county is owed. And that money is due to the seller. And you as an entrepreneur literally can get paid just to send those leads to different affiliates, as JT said. And again, get this book because you want to get it. It's authorjt.com. Go get this book. He'll give you all the steps. He gives you companies that you can just send the lead to, or you can create an entire business doing this. Yeah. All right. And so let's keep going.
Oh, yeah. Because I just wanted to give them some examples. So my uncle's been doing it longer than me. So my uncle is 71 years old now. So everything he buys, he's going either I can get it from him or he's going to flip it. And when I say I can get it from him, I still got to give him money. But at least he'll let me give him his money back. But he'll flip it because at 70 years old, he don't want to deal with tenants and toilets. But what I've gotten in the past is I've gotten 12 acres for $1,200. I've gotten, but I'm in the South now. I'm not in Atlanta. I'm not in Charlotte. I'm not in Los Angeles. I'm in a little country town. But 12 acres is 12 acres, right?
12 acres is 12 acres.
Yeah. So we got 12 acres for $1,200 that I later flipped. So I got 1, 2, 3 single family homes. 2 I flipped immediately. 1 I put a new roof on it because I got a good deal from a roofing company, and I think I cleared like 30 grand off of that one just by paying a junk removal company to clean out all of the junk, putting a new roof on it, and then just selling it as is like that. So there's definitely modular homes, empty land. If you want a traditional home, you can. But my whole thing is, it's not the fastest way, right? Because you guys know, like I said, I pride myself in practicality. There is something called a redemption period. So it's not you gave the county $200 and they throw you the keys. So during that redemption period, you're either somebody else can come back and pay the money to get their property back. What's good about it is you're going to get greater interest on your money than if you left it in the bank. So let's say you have $1,200 like I did, and you could have bought 12 acres of land, or you could have just kept your $1,200. Well, the first quarter, so 3 months after the auction, if they come back, I don't care if it's the next day, they have to give me 3% interest. They come back between 4 to 6 months, it's 6%, then 9%, then 12% interest on my money. So you could check your bank account or wherever your money is now. And even if you were going to use it as a savings account, because a lot of people go into it with that strategy as well, saying, hey, I was just going to save this money. I'm either going to make more money and get it redeemed, or I'll get this property and sell it as is and still make more money off of my money working for me.
I love it. I love it. You are saying some amazing information. And so that is so true. And so I tell people, like, that's a very low risk way to invest in real estate is tax lien investing. Because like you said, you're probably not going to get the house. In most cases, I've done it for many, many years, but I do get the interest And in many cases, you even get a fee. Depends on which state you're doing. And in some cases, some states, the interest is up to 30%. You know what I mean? So it depends on what state you're in. So like you said, it's a very low risk way to get interest on your money. So it's an amazing thing that people really should look in. Again, authorjt.com. Get a copy of this book. Use the code Noel. This is great information. This is a real way to invest in real estate for a very low risk way with almost a guarantee of a profit. You know what I mean? So let's keep going with this. So obviously you've done lots of businesses and I see you're loving the real estate. You came on over to the real estate side. So let's keep talking about that. Like what made you kind of transition from some of the hustles? Because you were like hustle man at first, and now you're like, nah, I'm serious entrepreneur. I don't play them games no more. So how did that transition happen?
Yep. So I started investing in mentors. So I encourage people to do that. When I was early on in business, first, I was afraid because I was like, man, some of these mentorship prices are thousands of dollars, which was a lot of money for me at the time. So I was like, man, I don't mind doing it, but is it the real deal? And the first piece of financial literacy I invested in, I spent $10,000 for a real estate coaching program, and I felt like they kind of left me out to dry. So that put a bad taste in my mouth when it came to financial literacy. So it was wholesaling. First of all, they didn't even tell me it was wholesaling, and I didn't even know what wholesaling was. So all they told me was, because I was looking to get a real estate license, and they said, hey, you don't want a real estate license. You get a real estate license. It's all these rules and regulations. We gonna show you a way to get into real estate without a license. And they said, just come on down. We'll talk to you more about it. They had me really excited. I was young. And it was 10 grand, and I had to finance it because I didn't have it in cash. And what they did was they taught me how to find something called absentee owners, which I'm sure most of you all know what that is. So we found absentee owners, and we did some old school marketing called direct mail. So I had to print out 1,000 of the same letters that said, hey, friend, I would like to buy your property cash, blah, blah, blah. And then I had to buy rolls and rolls of stamps. And I licked the stamps till my tongue bled, and then an old lady at the church said, son, if you don't get you a bowl with some water. So now I got a bowl in the water and a rag, and I'm dipping it, and I'm doing that, and I sent out thousands of letters, and I actually started getting people to reach out to me. I started putting people under contract, and that was the whole program. Like the program didn't teach you what to do after you got it under contract. So
well, let me tell you this, baby, because this is funny. This is why I love you. First of all, I love the truth, because me and you have so many similarities. Obviously, I'm a little bit older than you. I'm more of an auntie to you, but that's okay, because I'm hearing you like 10 years ago when I was 24. I was like, yeah, not me, bro. But listen, I had the same situation. I was living in my parents' basement, broke, bankrupt, bad credit. People that follow me, they already know this story. And I invested in a coach. But let me tell you this, baby. It was $20,000, and this was in 2009. Okay, this was 2009. It was 20,000, and I did the same thing. Had to finance it. The down payment was $3,000. So they just come up with the $3,000. Don't worry about the payment. Let's just get you that. Let's just get you in. So I canceled one of my classes at UConn, and I did finish school, luckily. But I would overload. I would take like 18 credits and stuff like that. So I was able to drop 2 classes and still be full time. So anyway.
And you were a mom at the same time too, right?
And I was a mom. And I was a mom. And I was a mom. I had 3 kids then. So I learned wholesaling too. But I can at least say I paid a little bit more than you do. They did teach me all of the steps. So I was able to actually wholesale. But same thing. I did letters. But where I was making my money was door hangers and signs. I didn't get as many calls on the letters as I would have liked. But I also didn't send out thousands because I didn't have that money. All right, I have a lot of money, but I was able to put out signs because I could put the signs out, just driving in my car, put the signs everywhere. They pick them back up. They want, homeless people. I have to fight with them to get my sign back, put it back down. So did you get to wholesale a deal though? Because again, mentorship, I think this is where this started, was mentorship. Obviously everybody's program is much different, but it does at least start teaching you. And I can honestly say for myself, it's a tool that I still use to this day about the marketing, because I think that's the part that I didn't get. I didn't realize how much of real estate investing was about finding those distressed owners.
Oh, yeah. So I would say in hindsight, it was more of me not being the right person. So yes, I could say, okay, once I got the property, I didn't know about how do I find a buyer? How do I get the financing to take it down myself? I just was like, hey, I got this contract that I printed off from the Google Drive you gave me, and they signed it and I signed it, and they said they'll sell me the house for $140,000 and it's worth $270. I don't have $140,000. They was like, you got to sell it. Like, okay, to who? I don't know. Right. Yeah.
Now that sucks for 10 grand. I can honestly say I got that contract brought to my coach. He was like, let's go. We're going to the RIA meeting. We're going to put it up here on this site. We put it on this site. And then I would just assign them. I didn't know about the double closes back. I mean, I knew about them, but I knew I couldn't do a double close again. I was broke. I ain't had no job. So I had to just do the assignment thing. But but at least you learn something. So what will be your takeaway from that? Because again,
I learned that that so much of becoming better is by you being the right person. See, me, I was just looking for fast, quick money. So I wasn't really asking the right questions before I even jumped in the program. I didn't even look at the reviews for the company. I just went to Google. They were running Google ads. I didn't even know. I was so, naive at the time. I didn't know that you could run a Google ad and be number one. I thought if you were number one, that means you was the best. So they were just running Google ads. They were the first thing on Google. I called them. They said, you don't want a real estate license. You want to come learn how to do it. It's way better our way. Didn't read any reviews. So that was it. And it still taught me that there are people willing to sell their property below retail price.
That is true. Good point. Because again, you said something that I was like, baby, you learned a lot just in that. You got a property that's worth 140. I mean, that they owe 140 on, and it's worth 270. Based on the numbers you saying, I'm like, baby, that's a deal.
So I definitely learned that. And then later on, I started realizing, okay, there are, believe it or not, if you're somebody out there that feels this way too, you have reservations about mentorship and what if you do get a deal, there's no shortage of people that will happily give you 40 for a property that's worth 270. And there's also groups and institutions that'll give you that as well, because they have investment groups all over that will love to invest in real estate property and stuff like that.
And that was actually, I think, the difference in my coaching program, kind of based on what you said. It was tied to an investment group that we could sell our properties to. And that was really, same like you, I didn't get the big picture. What I didn't get back then was how they were charging us to bring them deals. That's the part I didn't really get. Like, I'm paying you $20,000 and you give me back $5,000 because I sold you the deal. But like you said, I just gave you a deal with over $100,000 worth of equity. And I was like, baby, this is good. But it also, instead of being cynical about it, I realized, though, the process was learn, do, teach. Because let me be honest with the world. I'm a multimillionaire and people pay me and bring me deals. And that happens. Now I'm on the other side of it. I'll coach people. I'll teach them how to do it. And in many cases, they wholesale the deal to me or my investors group that I have, or even so. It's a weird system to wrap your mind around. But at the same time, I think if you can realize what's in it for you.
For sure. Yep. Because now I would say that investing in mentorship actually projected me to the level that I'm at now. And I know it will continue to help me get to the level that I want to reach, right? So ultimately, my goal is a 9-figure business, not me personally with 9 figures, because by the grace of God, my property paid for, cars paid for. I don't live a lavish lifestyle, but we live pretty good. But I think that I can help as many people as possible. I would need to build that 9-figure company. And like you said, learn, do, teach is the strategy that a lot of people, they have. I'd say that they're too selfish. So all they know is I need to do the thing, do the thing, do the thing. But let's say somebody watching this, you have a business, your business only does 40 grand a year. You feel like that's not a lot of money. How many people will pay you 4 grand to learn how to work for themselves instead of having to go work for somebody else that takes away their time freedom? So if you could just find 10 people, which is not a lot with the internet, if you find 10 people that's willing to do what you do, charge them 4 grand, you doubled your income and you didn't double your work. right?
Right.
These are the same SOPs and businesses that you use to run your business in, and you transfer it over to them. I tell everybody, because people get tied up in, I don't want to make a course, I don't want to make a course, or I don't know how to make it. I say, okay, well, the SOPs in your business should be so good that if nobody buys it, but if your children or grandchildren or great grands, long after you gone, if all they had was the courses and the SOPs that you left them, could they still run your business like you run your business or greater, right? So if you make it with that intent, I don't care if anybody buys a book, course, or whatever. Can my daughter go through this and run my business the way I would run it or better, right? That makes it way easier. And now, by doing that, you got a business that can run without you. And that's going to be one of the cheat codes that allow you to scale like crazy once your business doesn't need you to do everything in order to survive.
So true. So true. I love it. You said so many great things. So SOPs, for those who don't know what that means, standard operating procedures. So like your processes for your business. But let's go with something else you said, because I was like, boy, preach. Mentorship. You know, so many people times that people are looking for mentorship, and we actually had a conversation off camera about a mentorship that I recently was in, an inner circle. It was $50,000. And, you know, I had kind of confessed, I thought it was cool, but at the same time, it was me. I really was busy, and I have a special needs son. I was going through a lot of therapies. I just didn't really have time. And a lot of that mentorship really was a lot of travel, like go to Boise, let's go to Cancun, let's go to here. And I ain't got time. I can't travel like that no more. You know, my baby, he could get thrown off when I'm not around. So, you know, I'm here in Orlando. So, but again, I don't feel like it was a waste of money. I would never tell someone, hey, don't invest in that mentorship group, you know, because lots of people I know got lots of value from it. But talk to me about like where you kind of are with mentorship, like, you know, some of the things that you've learned and what you do for mentorship and how you mentor people.
Oh yeah. So right now, like I set aside every year, like at least 60 grand to invest in like just personal development is what I call it. So I go to conferences. It was great now for me and for everybody watching. Everybody has a virtual challenge. So you don't have to go to Orlando to learn from Noel. You don't have to go, you know, anywhere anymore from the comfort of your home. So now I can and this is a hack right here. I don't know if everybody that's in the coach economy is gonna be all right with this, but this is what I do. Just to be honest with you, I pay for LastPass, which is a service that allows you to give other people access to your accounts without you having to give them your email address and password. So some of the challenges I pay for, and then I make my VA go through the challenge and give me notes and then just tell me, okay, this is what I want to get out of it. All right, you go spend the 5 days, leave the camera off. They'll probably yell at you for not cutting the camera on, but leave your camera off, get the information. And then every week we do like Monday morning, 10 o'clock. I'm in the East Coast. We do team meetings. So she'll come to the team meeting and say, okay, I finished JT Automation's virtual, whatever. And, you know, based off of what you wanted to know from it, he said this, and this. Outside of what you asked for, this is what I thought was important. But I set aside like 60 grand at least a year to invest in that, because I've realized that my old mentality, just in case you have it, was I don't give Noelle money and then worry about how nice of a car she's gonna drive or how good her outfit is. I could care. I love you, but I'm not giving you money and then worried about what you're gonna do with the money. When I spend money, it's for my benefit. So maybe
what's in it for me? That's what I was saying. Yeah. And I think so many times, let's have this conversation really quickly. I think so many times people get worried about that, or just like, oh, I've even had someone say this to me, like, I don't want to make you rich. I was like, first of all, I'm already rich. So, you know, whether you in or you're out, you know, but that's the wrong mentality. Like just being really, really honest. That's a poverty mindset mentality. You should be worried about what's in it for you. Like, what am I going to learn? I've paid $50,000 for mentorship. Okay. So let's even go first, number one. First one, in my parents' basement, broke, bankrupt, bad credit, no money, no job. I paid $20,000 for mentorship. But in that first year of doing it, made $60,000. Okay. Okay. Another mentor I paid one guy. I just paid him, I think, $7,500 to teach me Facebook ads. This is when I was back doing Facebook ads, when I first decided to get into doing, some showing my fix and flips. I was just doing like little small events in Dallas where I would show you my fix and flip. I would show you, the contractor, the project, like basically how to fix and flip. Okay. So I ran some Facebook ads, paid him $7,500. The first event before anybody showed up made 10 grand. Before they even open the doors. Remember, you buy tickets, $500, blah, blah, blah. So what's in it for me? Like you said, why would I care what kind of car to drive? I paid a lady for $50,000. At the time, I was making about $200,000 a year. She make $2 million. Okay, so what I make all year, she make in a month. $50,000 I paid her. The first year after doing it, made almost $500,000. So again, what's in it for me? Yeah, she was rich. She lived in a big old house, and again, it was also inspirational. Like, I'm not doing enough with. I could be doing more in my life. It was really kind of inspirational on that point. But let's go into.
Can I answer that real quick?
Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
All right. So just three quick things I want everybody here to think about. One, when you pay a premium, you now psychologically start becoming a premium value person, right? So believe it or not, some people think, okay, wearing designer shoes is a waste of money. Why you spending $1,000 plus on your shoes, right? So the first time I bought some Balenciagas and a Rolex, it was when I hit 100K, and I was like, I can't wear it in front of my mama because she gonna tell me, because we grew up on food stamps and she not gonna like that. Now my mom is addicted to Balenciagas at 70-something years old. Believe it or not, right? The ones that look like socks, like Cardi B said. Right. So, but anyway, though, when I bought that, the people that knew what it was, it actually became a networking opportunity. So when you pay that money, you become a premium person and you appreciate it more, right? If somebody was to just give you a Lamborghini, right, eventually you wouldn't keep it clean, wouldn't maintain it, like just overall it wouldn't. But if you spend $500,000 or whatever the new Lamborghini costs, you're going to make sure it's in the garage. You're going to keep the maintenance up. You're going to appreciate that better. Same thing with information, because one thing, I spent $30,000 for to go to Cancun for a mastermind. The number one thing that I learned, I'm gonna share it with you all for free. And if you don't get it, then you should have paid $30,000 and been in the room and you would have understood it. It was something called the 85% rule. This was a content creator event, and people in this room made between $400,000 to $650,000 off of AdSense revenue from their YouTube channel. That means without selling anything to anybody, you watch their videos, you say you're stupid, you're ugly, you're lying, they still make $400,000 to $650,000 a month without selling anything to anybody, right? So they said something called the 85% rule. They said no matter how much money you make on another platform, whether it's YouTube, Amazon, any social media platform you don't own, 85% of your money has to come from something you own completely. That's a newsletter, that's a website, that's anything that you create, that you own, that algorithms can't control, nobody can fire you off of, or anything like that, right? That one nugget, I took it to heart. I came back and I created my own little program and saying, okay, this is going to be a program, and the only way to get invited is if you're on my newsletter. So my newsletter recently got valued at $653,000. I started it last November. So from November to now is what, 7-8 months. So I used a company called 𝗚𝐸. If you have a newsletter out there and want to get it evaluated for free, you can check those out. But 𝗚𝐸 evaluated my newsletter at over $600,000. And my first client that took me up on that offer did 60 grand their first month with me. And this is like now my own program that it don't matter what the YouTube algorithm does. It doesn't matter what the ads cost, because if you use paid ads, that ad costs can fluctuate. Everybody wants that middle-aged man. It seems to be everybody customer avatar because they buy stuff, or depending on, that middle-aged woman, if you're in cosmetics or whatever, because they buy a lot of stuff, right? But every year it costs more and more money to reach them. So you're going to become a premium person. You're going to appreciate the information more. That's going to make you more likely to do it. Once you do it, you become a practitioner. That's the highest level of success, in my opinion. We have people that are theorists, They read the books, watched the YouTube videos, heard all the good information. They ain't never did nothing. We got witnesses, right? I was a fly on the wall, and I saw Noelle Randall struggle on her YouTube channel. I saw her win. I ain't never did nothing, but I know a lot, and I saw somebody do it. But the practitioner, that's the person that when a problem occurs, they know how to navigate it. They've been through hard times before. So if this happens or that happens, I'm going to be all right, right? Noelle said she knows what it's like to go live with her parents again, right? She knows what it's like to have to figure out, well, okay, I don't have the money. I got to do something creative with my classes just to get the money, right? So if a problem happens today, like she go outside, which I hope it don't, and she has 4 flat tires, it's not the end of her life. It's okay. I've dealt with worse. I'll be fine. And then once you start being a practitioner, you're going to start having success, and success begets success. So your confidence is going to increase, and you're going to say, you know what? Them 4 flat tires wasn't nothing. Right? Somebody else watching this, if you go outside, you got 4 flat tires, your whole life is over. How I'm going to get to work, how I'm going to pay for these tires, right? So I really challenge you all, when you invest in a mentor, don't think about what they get. Think about what you get. You become a premium person that's going to be a practitioner, that's going to become successful, and then success begets more success.
That's right. That's right. And another thing, too, that I learned in mentorship that you had said earlier was about proximity. It really wasn't until I was around a millionaire that I could actually see how I could become a millionaire. Like you said, you're around a creator that's making $500,000 off of their YouTube channel before you actually can start to see, okay, wait a minute. Now I'm getting how they make millions. You know, they're getting $500,000 from the AdSense. Now they have these newsletters, or you have an email list, or you have courses or classes or events or whatever it is, challenges, whatever it is that you do. This is how you have multiplied that income. So being that proximity, I think to me that's if I was saying what mentorship was really what I really got from it in the beginning was that I could see myself in that. Like I started to be able to see myself like, wait a minute, this person is just a human. I'm touching them. I'm talking to them. They aren't that different than me. It's something that I'm just not thinking about the way that they think about.
Most people are working too hard to make real money.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you get around people that are making the big money, it's more of they have a team around them, right? A lot of people that's doing everything themselves, they tell themselves, I can't afford a team. High level people say, I can't afford not to have a team. Yeah, so you will realize like, okay, I'm working too hard trying to do everything myself. How can I make this a bigger pie? So quick sidebar story. I know they're gonna get tired of these stories, but it's powerful, right? It's a friend of mine. We're around the same age. His name is Enoch. Enoch owns a mountain. First person I ever met that owned a mountain. And I was like, how you own a mountain? He said, it's just real estate, JT. So like, just like any other real estate, you could buy it. So
like an island, people own an island. Why can't own a mountain?
Yeah. So at the base of the mountain is his family home. It's him and his wife. They got like 4 or 6 kids. And then up the mountain is a trail. They do luxury tree houses. So you can go get married and stay in a luxury tree house. And I think Dove goes out there, and if you ever seen them Dove commercials with the Bigfoot running through and whatever, they do all of that on his mountain, or some of that on his mountain as well. But anyway, I went to Enoch when I was making 30 grand a month, and I thought I was the richest guy ever, right? So because we was around the same age. Yeah. So I was like, we were just talking business. He was like, man, so what are you netting a month? I was like, man, you know, stick my chest out. Man, I'm doing at least 30 a month. Like, and he was like, man, so what are you doing? And I named out like 25 different side hustles and businesses. And he was like, okay, that sounds terrible. So you're not good at anything. I was like, what you mean? He was like, you're doing 25 things to make 30 grand a month. You're making a little over $1,000 a month. Like, why don't you just get good at one thing and make 100 grand a month? And I was like, you know, I never thought about it that way. Like, so he taught me
that was my mentor, Pick a Horse. And to those that don't know, that's my latest book. It's called Pick a Horse. You can go to noellerandall.com/PAH. That focus, man, pick a horse. My mentor said the same. You need to pick a horse, because I did the same. I would sell some hair. I had some tea. I had some this. She said, baby, you need to pick a horse and ride it.
Yep. So he taught me like a bigger problem principle is what he called it. So he was saying, okay, JT, if your goal is 30K a month, where I was at that time, he said, you know what? Why not solve a $300,000 a month problem, which I, like many of you all out there, when you heard me say it, was like, in my mind, if the problem is that big, my life is over. But he was saying, find a problem that's $300,000 a month. Because he was saying right now, if you want to make $30K a month, there's no incentive for an employee, a business partner, anybody that could help you make $30K easier. There's no meat left on the bone. You want the whole $30K, right? So what if instead of you, let's say $30K a month is you providing affordable housing to 30 families, right? 30 unit apartment building, $1,000 a door. He was like, okay, what if you try to get 500 doors, right? And you're okay with making 30 grand a month. Well, okay, so that leaves us 470 doors that somebody else can profit off of, and now they'll incentivize you. The biggest mistake people make is if you make a bigger problem, you didn't want a bigger piece of the pie. So it's still, now you want $500,000 a month. But that one tip, going back to what you said, and I like how you called it, by picking a horse and going all in. I tell people now, I really only do one thing now. So I do media and I invest in everything else. So I invest in real estate, I invest in the stock market, I invest in other businesses, but I don't give my time to anything other than media. Now, we do occasional meetings, maybe like once a month, just to see what's going on there. But the majority of my time is I'm on Black Beauty, right? I don't know if you remember that book, right? But I'm on Black Beauty the horse.
Okay, now that horse.
Yeah.
That's the horse you picked. I love it. I love it. Well, this has been amazing. You have given out so much amazing information. One more time, you need to go get this book, authorjt.com. Use the code Noel. You want this real estate book. One more time, talk about the title, because again, there's different hustles people could do. They can watch your channel. You have an amazing YouTube channel. You got amazing Instagram. You're giving out great information. And you have this amazing book. So what is the name of that book one more time?
It's How to Buy Real Estate for $1,000 or less without debt and without wholesaling, or get paid just for trying. For your convenience, if you're watching this video now, I'll make sure it's on the home page, so it's real easy to find. Be sure to use discount code Noel, so that way you can save 50% on the book. It's an ebook, so you get access to it immediately. I'll give you my exact strategy, and I'll give you that resource. If you don't want to work all of the overages yourself, you could just refer it out, and as he closes deals, receive passive income.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much, JT. You have been amazing. See you next time.
All right.